Alright, we are back and gonna do a new help video here, and I know a lot of people already know this, but it's something that a lot of the newer folks in iRacing may not know, and it could mean the difference between a win and a finishing on pit road type situation. So just a quick video to try and help some folks out. Alright, so I'm doing this in the Gander trucks at Michigan because Michigan is one of the good tracks to actually show this, the effects of this at, versus, and the trucks are C-Class. They're one of the first cars that you actually do oval pace laps on. Now, obviously, there's different strategies for saving fuel in road cars and things like that. I can do a different video on that a different day, but this is just to help the guys and girls in oval, the newer people. If you don't know how to save fuel and you know it's going to be close, this trick will help. Now, this is under caution, under pace laps. We've already done the video on how to warm the tires up. Obviously, that's not something, these two don't work together extremely well, but you can warm the tires a little bit. Now, you see pace car speed is 70 miles an hour. Here's my fuel gauge. Fuel gauge is showing 18.7 gallons, and the pace speed is 70 miles an hour. We'll watch that pace speed right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull out, and we're going to assume that, you know, you've got 2 laps of pacing. So we're going to get out here, and we're just going to pace around for 2 laps at 70 miles an hour. Pull back down to the entrance to pit road, and then look at the numbers, and then we'll do this again a different way. Okay, so this is the way a lot of guys, when they first start out, this is the way they're going to pace. Alright, we're essentially assuming we just picked up the pace car. You can see down in the right hand corner, we're doing about 70 miles an hour. And obviously there's a little fluctuation there. You might be doing 65, you might be doing... Delta won't turn off, but that's fine. And we'll pace up on the wall because the outside line obviously is a little bit longer distance. And while we're doing this, just want to say, if you like this, we have more on the How to Suck at iRacing YouTube channel. You can always check out our broadcasts throughout the week on Twitch and Facebook. Both of them, the ID is Suck at iRacing. You can follow us on Twitter, and we have a website, htsai.net. So, just cross the start-finish line. And yeah, I could cut this part of it out, but when I do these help videos, I try to be as transparent as possible about everything. So it's been 1 lap since we came off pit road. And I believe I have the fixed setup for this track in. I didn't even look. It passed the test, so results will vary depending, you know, especially if you're running an open setup race, and depending on your setup, your tape, your gearing, things of that nature, that can always affect these results, but this is just a general way of doing this. Another good pointer is the second your engine is turned on pit road, you're going to start burning fuel. You can actually sit at the end of pit road and burn fuel sitting in your pit stall. It's not a ton of fuel, but you know, at a track like this where fuel, it might come down to fuel mileage, that could make the difference between a win and a loss. So something to keep in mind. Alright, coming down the back stretch, we have completed 2 pace laps, and we're going to stop at the end of pit road. So now we're just going to go back down here, get ready. And just a side note, if you're under green flag conditions and you need to pit here, see that wood thing right there? That is on the right, as we're passing it on the outside, that is actually the perfect place to start checking up and getting yourself down to pit road. Just discovered that about a week ago. Alright. Okay, we started with 18.7 gallons. We're now down to 17.9, so we used almost a full gallon for 2 pace laps. I always take off out of second for no reason other than you don't spin the tires, you don't lose that much, but you gain a lot of control. Some tracks I'll use first gear, but alright, so now we're coming off pit road. And now I'm going to shift into 4th. Drop back down to 70. And with this, you might actually occasionally have to drop back down into 3rd if you start to lose. So you got to really maintain the pace with the cars in front of you, pay close attention to what they're doing. And just an old mountain biking adage, I think a lot of racers say it too, is you're not watching the car in front of you, you're watching 2 to 3 cars in front of you. Back when I raced mountain bikes, you always said you're not watching right in front of your tire, you're watching 10, 20, 30 feet as far ahead as you can. And that just allows you to predict, hey, what's going to happen next, and be able to adjust accordingly. So you'll notice we're at much lower RPMs. We're going to burn a lot less fuel this way. We burn most of the fuel that we have used so far just getting off pit road. And if you're under a caution flag and there's nobody around, obviously you can get into 4th gear sooner. You can start inching it around. Under a single caution, you're not going to pick up a lot, but it might be that 0.1 or 0.2 of a lap that you need to make it to the finish when everybody else is running out around you. Doing this on a pace lap might make all the difference in the world. And there are some people out there, if you have a button box or if you want to do it, there's a lot of guys that will kill the ignition and just turn the engine completely off, and there you have it. You're not using any at all. I've never actually tested that, so I can't say if I would think turning the engine back on would use a little bit of fuel, but it may be less. I know a few guys that swear by it, so it's worth testing different things to do what you need to do to save some fuel there. And again, we're going to come down and stop at the entrance to pit road. And again, we'll just point out that, you know, under green flag conditions, at least at this track, the best place to start your pit entry being that wooden shack you'll see standing up. It's like a spotter stand or a scorer stand. And there it is. And there you have it. And pacing in second gear, we were down to 17.8 gallons. Pacing in fourth, we're down to 18.2. So almost a half a gallon of fuel. And obviously, you know, if you're steadier on the throttle, if you're able to go a little slower, whatever the case may be, you can save a little bit of fuel in several different ways. Uh, with this big 2 miler, the lower you get, obviously the more fuel you'll save. If you're closer to that white line, we did the outside line just to kind of show that. But so that's it. Thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us, How to Suck at iRacing, on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. We have htsai.net and htsai24 on Twitter. Thank you all very much. Hope this helped. If you have suggestions, hop on Facebook, drop me a note. Thanks.